among Democrats right now because they seem to be going, none of our talking points are working. Why don't these people like this? So they decided, we'll bring Barack Obama in. That's going to solve this. So they bring Barack Obama in. Garland Gilchrist comes out on stage in Detroit and he says, this election is about political power. And we get political power from the city of Detroit. And I'm like, this explains so much about the last 4 years. Because this election is about serving and leading, not power. But man, when you hear that, you realize that they haven't seen the rest of the state. They haven't seen the communities across the rest of the state that were decimated by Gretchen Whitmer's orders. And that, I think, is the part that is the hardest. People ask me, what's been the hardest part of campaigning? Gosh, we go into these communities and they've lost their restaurants. You know, we had restaurants closed down longer than any other state. 3,000 restaurants, but we lose restaurants every day. I just last week heard of one of my favorites in Spring Lake that is closing. We lose restaurants every single day because you can't go for 8 months, off and on, off and on. Employees don't know whether they'll work or not. Our industries were decimated, and that means our sense of community has been destroyed. And I go places and people come up and they grab my hands and they say, please bring our communities back. It's been so hard. It's not just COVID. It's the fact that this administration is using the heavy hand of government to crush business still to this day. These agency heads that she has chosen have gone in and they cite and they fine. It doesn't matter who you are. The farmers were considered the target. The farmers, the manufacturers, the builders, everything is more challenging. It's more challenging to get a permit. It's more challenging to get a license. It is stopping economic development in this state. But we are going to make sure that we reduce those regulations by 40% in the first 4 years, and government will be a partner to business. We will bring business back in the state of Michigan. But you know, when I look at this room, just so you know, this room is freaking Democrats out. I mean, you watch CNN and they're like, we don't know why this is happening right now. It reminds me of when they were crying on the air in 2016. So they look at this room and they're like, how did this happen? And the funny thing is, I'm like, it's because of you. When I came out of the primary, people were like, how does this nut job think that she's ever going to be able to do this? And they didn't say it exactly like that. They were a little nicer. One of the radio hosts, he's like, so Gretchen Whitmer has name ID across the entire state. No one knows your name. So how do you think there's any chance you're going to be able to do this? And I said, you know what? Everybody in this state is going to know my name, and Gretchen Whitmer's going to pay for it. $25 million goes a long way. You can actually have like 3 commercials about one person in every cycle of commercial. And then everyone not only knows my name, but they see my face. So now when we go into restaurants, we go to the gas station, people stop, and they come up to me and they're like, I'm voting. And that makes me excited because I'm like, the fact that they're whispering, that means that quiet Republican really does exist. So the other night I'm giving out Halloween candy and I put it in this little girl's basket and Dad's like, thank you. Are you Tudor Dixon? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, like my neighbors know who I am, we're in my yard. You know? really reassuring because we know the polls that say we're tied are probably off a little bit. So we're believing for a really big night on Tuesday. And when I look at this room, I think it's going to happen. From now on, when we get into office, we will make sure that we focus on reading, writing, and math. That we bring back the parents' voice in education. That we invest in our police officers. We respect and honor them. Safe communities in the state of Michigan. We are going to reduce regulation in business, and we will bring back the American dream to the state of Michigan. And we will do all of this because of all of you. Here on the West Michigan side because it's so nice to be home. It's funny to me because I have people sometimes send me messages and they're like, you should try coming over to West Michigan once in a while. And I'm like, I actually live here. So I'm quite a bit. You know, you can see me driving through anytime. I go to the grocery store and people are like, why are you here? I'm grocery shopping. Why are you here? This is my grocery store. Oh, you live over here? Yes. Everybody, that was another thing. Everybody's like, somebody from the West Side can't become governor. I'm like, yeah, well, we're breaking that. So there's going to be some history made on Tuesday night because people are going to go, how did this girl come from nowhere with no money and have enough people believe in her that she was able to turn Michigan red? We're going to have the first female Republican governor in the state of Michigan. And we're going to bring some West Side love to Lansing.